I actually went into the into YouTube itself and looked for the video. Like
I didn't.
it wouldn't play from the link inside the chat. I had to go to the actual
I
YouTube.
did go to YouTube. It wouldn't play for me on YouTube either.
Dang.
I was watching it when you first posted it, and I got a call, and I went back, and it just won't let me back in for some reason.
Okay, I'll see if I can look to change it. But I'll definitely try to resend the link too. I'll delete that link and try to post a new one. But this is why this is so important to me because at least one of y'all will change your life with this trade. And and don't feel bad if you mess it up. I was on the call with y'all and I didn't trade that UJ trade properly. I didn't hold that trade. I won't make that mistake again. Um, but here's my real issue with these types of trade setups. We get this 6-month candle twice a year, and maybe you didn't have the mental capacity or the understanding of the market that you needed to have to take a trade and hold that trade with confidence. I don't have that excuse because I do have the understanding and the mental capacity, right? I got sidetracked by, with those 100 pip flips. I'm not mad, but um, this is a an opportunity that we have to take a trade and hold it to and through the duration, right? I do believe this is a buy to sell. I believe the dollar is going to continue to get weaker. Trump is the president for another few years. So he is going to get his way. And he's good at getting his way. So we're going to buy up and we'll buy up to this zone and we'll get our sell signal and we can turn around and take the same lot size or you can double your lot size and sell it. But the thing that I want to point out is these are like 1,000 pip trades, 800 pips right now on the screen. If it goes like to the 78, it's 1,000 pips. What's going to happen first, this trade is going to sell first. So it's going to take out this low. It's going to give us a signal, some sort of liquidity grab, right? The same way that UJ trade that we knew was setting up on January 10th. That date is burned in my brain because there was a wick to the top side on the daily candle. It was a daily liquidity grab, just like that video that we watched. It was there, and I saw it, and I mentioned it, and that trade got out of Dodge and it never came back. And the same thing is going to happen with these trades. This setup is going to happen. It's going to get out of Dodge. It's going to buy up. This candle is a full candle. So you don't have to worry about whether or not it's going to take out that low. It's going to take out that low. We're trading with a full candle. And on the flip side, if you're looking at EU and GU, they're the same way, but on the top side, these are full candles. All we have to do is wait until we get our signal, right? The signal is price going above the high of that candle, right? Um, and I don't mind trashing all this stuff because I can always put it back. But you're gonna mark the high of this candle. Maybe it buys up a little bit Monday, tomorrow, or maybe it pulls back. I think it's probably a higher likelihood that it'll pull back than buy up. I think the buying part is probably done for the most part. Now we'll just create the wick. We only have one day to create a wick. So maybe we sell down, 80, 90 pips or so. Maybe this candle sells 155 pips to this imbalance. And then we buy up to break that high or wick that high and that sale starts. However it happens, I wish I could tell you that part. And at some point as a trader, maybe I will be able to tell you or tell a group, hey, this is exactly what's going to happen. But I'm not there yet to tell you exactly how it's going to happen. But I am here to tell you that it is going to happen. And everything that we're looking at here like y'all can draw on your personal trading knowledge where you have a break of structure. This is a break of structure, right? So there's no question. Nobody has to argue that that's a break of structure. You have an inside bar on the daily, which probably means the next daily candle is going to go above that red candle and then sell down into this imbalance where we could take a buy. We're going to buy it back up because we know it's going to wick this high to sell it. And now you're in your sell trade, right? You're in your sell trade, a trade that you can hold. Imagine if you could take one trade and have no losses for 6 months, which we all could have done on this candle, or we all could have done on that JPY candle. January 10th, we could have all entered a sell trade. That's the only trade we would have needed for 6 months. Now, at some point, we will get there, as a group as far as trading, but we aren't there yet, individually as traders. So the best way you can look at this, in my opinion, the best scenario, and Andrew broke down, his thoughts about this pulling back 50%. And I don't necessarily disagree with what Andrew was saying, right? I believe that it's going to come at least to the 50, probably to the 65. Just my experience with trading. If I fib that area and I drop down to the 4 hour, and y'all can back test what y'all see or the way you see this panning out. But if you back test and you look and you say, oh man, there's an imbalance right here. It's a clear imbalance in my zone, and there's a high degree of likelihood that that trade is coming to that imbalance, right? So if we can catch a trade, a buy trade to these highs, only to take a sell trade from those highs, then maybe your trade setup is going to look something like this, because this would is actually a sell to buy, right? Because you're selling this based on a bullish 6 month order block. So you would take this sell trade. Y'all see that number? That's not a fake number. You take that sell trade. This is going to end up being 1,000 pip trade. You take that 1,000 pip trade down, and once it rejects, you're going to get into a buy position. We already see what the buys look like on this pair. So these other impulse moves up. This impulse move right here to this high, you see that pip count? 1361. Then it pulled back 1200. Then the impulse again. You can't make this up, man. 1600. So it's not going to stop doing it because you see it.
How many days is that, Ty? If we can look in
I don't
between it.
listen. These
No,
are
I'm just wondering, like a
I
few
mean,
weeks.
you're no, it's not weeks. It's these are months. Um, okay, let's look at this. This we hit this high September 30th, 2024. So this is the end of December right here,
Okay, got you.
January 8th. So that's a quarter. That's basically a quarter. Because in January 10th is when UJ started selling and GU started buying. So you're going to look at this is going to be about the same date. Friday, January 10th, we probably bottomed, right? Where is this wick? That's January. This is Monday, January 13th on this. You see that wick? That
Hmm.
wick candle? And then all of a sudden we catch out and go north. So we're looking at a quarter. These are quarterly movements, and in this case, it was 2 quarters in a row. It kept pushing up. My plea, with you guys, who y'all kind of understand the system and kind of how we look at trade setups. This is the same thing that we've proven to work on a weekly time frame. You're just doing it on the higher time frame candle. everybody who looks at this, who's a part of this group, understands that this, in every definition of the word, is a bullish order block, right? There's a down candle, and then there's a candle that breaks structure to the top side. That's a bullish order block. You would be looking to trade this back. If this is a weekly candle, you'd be looking to trade it back to the order block, and maybe even away after you trade it back if you knew it was going to pay you. So I think that most of us who have an understanding of this can trade this trade down into this golden zone. And if you're smart, you'll double your lot size and trade it away from the golden zone. Those two moves could change your life forever. Forever. You get 1,000 pips going this way, and you get 1,500 going back the other way. Your life will never be the same.
I need 2 trades a year.
That's you know
I'm ready for trading.
it might sound a little ridiculous, but that's how it works. And every time I go back and I look, man, and hopefully this is working on y'all too. When you go back and you look and you hear the video and you see the thing that I pointed out on that video about this sell trade happening, and then you go to this day chart and you go to January freaking 11th, and we wick that high like that. You will never be able to unsee this. You'll never be able. There's your one opportunity. All of us saw that wick. That's the cold piece of it. On that video, if you're a part of that video call, you saw this wick. This is the exact wick we were talking about. I was talking about on the weekly, but this is the daily. This wick happened on a Friday. That call we did was Saturday, January the 11th. You see what I'm saying? These,
Mm-hmm.
these are our trade opportunities. This is the one that got away. This was the rich chick that was in love with you that you cheated on.
And Jay, that it just be going. It just go. I'm
This,
definitely gonna be in this.
this thing fell out the sky and it kept falling. And when I showed Bebe this, she looked at me like, Negro, I thought you knew this. Like, how come we wasn't in that trade? It's hard to describe how you missed this. You have an imbalance here. Trade came back up into it. UJ don't pull back, right? I mean, it just fell out the sky, y'all. Like, you can't make this stuff up. So when you get down here at the bottom, you get this push up that breaks this high. That's a chalk. We're going back up. So yeah, you can get into these JPYs or whatever. I'm just trying to show you the easier path, right? The easiest trade setup. News not included. I don't care about that. What I care about
Hold on.
is this going to trade above that high, right? Because once this trades above the high, the ball is in our court as traders. We know that it's going lower. Once it trades above that high, all we have to do is get in the freaking trade. Now, guys, I'm just talking about one entry. Imagine if you get 2 or 3 entries. That's why I want to call this meeting and stress this this trade idea, because y'all are competent traders, and even an incompetent trader would have found a way to add a second position somewhere along this drop. Even if you added a second position right here and it went in profit and it came back and you was in drawdown, this first one is in so much profit that your account is not in red. You see what I'm saying? And because you're selling it, eventually this horrible entry turns into a good trade because you're going with the flow of the market. So all of us are competent enough to take a trade from that higher time frame and to get at least 2 positions. Your life changes forever. It doesn't matter if you're trading with a 0.03 or a 0.05. 1,000 pips later, your account is never the same. When that trade turns around to start going the opposite direction and you beef up that lot size, your account never goes back, to the way it was before you caught this trade. If you have a good size account, it's only going to get way better. So I don't know what y'all are looking at, but in my opinion, to ignore these trades with these full candles at the 6 month time frame is a grave mistake. And there
All
are
right.
some
So that was the EU, GU, and was it Cash Chef?
USD chef. They're all USD
USD
pairs. There are some like this trade is not a bad trade setup. But the problem with this trade setup is you might get a 500 pip pullback and we're going the opposite direction. I'm not acting like 500 pips isn't great. But what I'm telling you is the best counts, pip counts pair wise is going to be those three. And we've seen the example of what can happen um, by looking at that UJ trade. This is also a great trade setup. This Euro CAD trade. I believe it's going to pull back to go higher too. But this is another good trade setup with a meaty candle. So all you're going to do is adjust that high, like wherever the high of this 6 month candle is, you're going to adjust your marker that gives you an alert to that new high. I had this on here to see if we break and close below, right? I expect us to sell uh, back below these lows, because obviously I'm short. I'm biased for a short trade, so I expect us to sell back below and close below the low. That means on that 6 month candle we wicked those highs, and then the next day or sometime next week, price will go up above these highs and give you a short, and you can short it all the way down. And I don't believe that we can afford to miss these opportunities. That's just me personally. I think that these opportunities are very important for us to get to the next step in our trading journey. Else, I wouldn't be on here at 10 o'clock at night pleading with y'all again about these trade setups. It was really on me, and I know, my girlfriend, might be sick of me talking about it at this point, but it's really on me to try to make an impression uh, on you guys about these setups because I don't know about y'all, but you can lose a lot of trades in 6 months. All the while, we saw that one winner. We saw that one trade we needed to avoid every loss that you've taken since January 11th. Imagine that.
Yes, these streets are exciting. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's good. Hey, we just need to
I got
we
my
need to
alert set.
we need to just scream at the mountaintops when it's time to happen. Like I'm ready. Like I've been posting my chart. I just think our group has lost its luster, but
Well,
I still
I
try to
don't know.
post.
I'm not going to say that the group has lost its muster, but what happens is whenever I stop posting, people kind of lose interest. I don't want that to happen with the group. Like what we shared or what I shared with y'all was the exact route um, that I know that works, right? Um, Even if you can't execute it properly at this point in time, that route freaking works. This is just expounding on that weekly chart. Now, we could have gotten that trade in January and only been looking to re-enter, like add positions, right? And that's what I really wanted to say next. So let me just show you an example of what that looks like. And I tried to explain to Bebe, but I don't know if it fell on deaf ear, but let me see. Um, when we looked at this trade, right, there's not going to be a perfect way. Uh, I know most people want clear and precise answers, but here's the ugly truth. If we would have entered this trade right here and we would have fell, price would have fell down and pulled back, I think all of us could have had, the wherewithal to enter again. But I'm going to always say you have to pick, right, a higher time frame to manage your trade on. Um, and the way that looks is, let's say you pick the 18 hour, or even better, since this is a 6 month time frame, maybe you um, can manage this better on this 2-day chart, where you would have gotten to that trade, it would have pulled back. Every time it comes back up to these moving averages, right? You enter another position and it falls and it comes back up to the moving average. You enter, it falls. Maybe you enter it again here. It fell down and it pulled back. Maybe you would have been too scared to enter. But once you would have got this tumble right here, you'd have been mad you didn't enter. And then it pulls back. Maybe you enter. And when it came back and it didn't break that low, now maybe you say, I'm closing everything, right? But the deal is on that video and on that call, I think my argument to y'all was, hey man, because the market pushed to this low and it pulled back, we can trade it back to this low. And I was like, I don't want to have to argue with y'all about trading it that far. But if you look at what happened, we came back to that freaking low. You see what I'm saying? And this is not to say, oh, I was right. What I'm trying to show y'all is just because it's on a higher time frame doesn't make it in an impossible situation. We're trading it the same way. And because we've never done it before, myself included, I've never held that trade for 6 months. I should have, but I did not. This is going to be a psychological nightmare, probably to some people, right? Because those numbers are going to be huge. Can you imagine the numbers on that trading account as this thing pushes down? And you add that second position and it pushes down and it pulls back. And you add that third position. When it pushes down that third time, you're going to be looking at numbers that you're not comfortable looking at. So
Yeah, that's psychology got to be on
it,
point
it, it
for
is.
real.
Well,
Yeah,
it
you're gonna
is.
have to pick a higher time frame than 2 day.
Well, it might. I mean, that's cool. I don't have the perfect answer, but what I'm telling you is we should take the trade setup that presents itself on the 6 month time frame uh, next week, this coming week, whenever it happens, and just ride the trade. Maybe you add two positions and let it roll. Maybe you add three positions and let it roll. But you hold that trade until it gets to the golden zone of that 6 month candle. And then once it gets down there, we can look to enter for the buy. So I will, I'm gonna have it marked on my chart. Hopefully y'all gonna have it marked on y'all's chart. And whenever the opportunity hits, I'm gonna post it in our Zoom. I mean in our Discord. And we can kind of run it up just using that trade. Um, it's going to be some people that don't take the 6 month, and we can still post the weekly. I'm not trying to disparage people who might not be able to hold the trade. I get it, but it is my desire to hold this trade. What y'all think?
I'm definitely
I like
holding.
I like it. It's not like you can't have another position. Get another account. I don't care if you put $200 in there. Get in there and hold it.
I agree.
I'm
Like you
excited.
still have to live. I understand people. You can't if you gotta do what you gotta do, but put something in there and hold it.
I agree. I mean, if you started with $100 and you catch 1,000 pips, man, that thing gonna get crazy.
Yeah, especially if you get in three positions.
Well, two positions. This doesn't have to be complicated. Uh,
But
a
like you
dollar
said,
a
but that's
pip.
one way though. That's one way though. You got to get it back up too. You
Well,
get
I
it
get
back
it.
up too.
A dollar a pip for 1,000 pips is $1,000, right? If you
Mhm.
get two positions, I mean, bruh, you're looking at least $1,500, right? If you waited 500 pips to add your second position. If you get three positions, I mean, just go dumb, dumb, da, dumb. Like, because your second position, your account is no longer $100. So if you had $100 account and it went 500 pips, your account is now a $600 account. When you add that second position, you're not adding a $1 position.
Oh, yeah, the six
You
dollar
add a
position.
$6 position. A $6 position that goes 500 pips, man, that's three bands. So it gets ridiculous real quick. If you got a $1,000 account, Brad, just forget it, man. If you got a $10,000 account, just I don't even want to think about those numbers. It just gets dumb. And you don't have to max this out. You don't have to max it out. You don't have to use the highest lot size you can use. This is a position that you can add to, right? Um, so that's all. I gotta watch a movie, and I don't want to hold y'all up. I know we got off another call earlier today, but I wanted to impress the importance of catching one of these trade setups because these are the setups that can change our lives, right? And the beauty of these setups, just like you're seeing on this chart, is if we took this one trade, we avoided any loss that we have taken since January the 11th. That to me is worth stressing this conversation because it helps us avoid uh, destruction, self-destruction by just sitting in the trade. If you wanted to add one position per week, one position every 2 weeks, it's your prerogative. So just something to think about, squad, fam. I'm going to look for the trade. You know, hopefully y'all, if y'all want to trade it, y'all mark up your charts, set your alerts, and I'm going to post what I see. Y'all do the same, and we can talk from inside the trade.
Thanks, Todd. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Man, appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Todd. Appreciate it.